here at Disco Witch Brewery with our client, Shelly, in Yulee, Florida, and we're gonna run you through the details. And so Shelly, I mean, we got through this, but barely, right?
Yeah, it was a challenge, but we did it. We did it.
Yeah, nothing about this project was easy. Our entire drywall team, a lot of our management staff internally, even our architect, everybody had COVID. It was just like out for weeks on end, and that was a stressor.
It was
for
a
you.
huge problem for me because I just didn't know if the project was ever going to be completed.
So if you ever have an unhappy client, where Shelly was a little bit on the verge, honestly, of being a little bit upset about the whole project, and her equipment came in, not really our fault, but wrong, and things were going up. But we made some mistakes too, our design team, our project management team, and so how do you resolve these issues is the question. It's detail, management, it's listening to the client, it's communicating with the client when things do go wrong. What else, Ron?
A construction project is simply just that, and you want it to go perfect. There's going to be times when you hit a roadblock. It could be product, lead times, delivery, not making it to the site. It could be all of a sudden the client wants something in addition to what was talked to before. It could simply be just the subcontractors not showing up when they're supposed to. So construction is not easy. Construction is always being on top of it, grabbing the bull by the horns, having a plan B. If you have a drywall crew, it's okay to have a backup drywall crew. So there's always obstacles, and we at J-Lane strive to make sure that we're doing all these things, planning to making sure that we have a plan B, when something does, a curveball is thrown at us.
Yeah.
I got here and you had an enormous amount of vision.
Yeah.
And I very quickly found out the amount of detail that you had in your mind.
Huge amount of details. So I learned a long time ago that success is always in the details. And if you skip those or you don't think of them in advance, you will forever be cursed with whatever it is that you drew up.
Right.
And so for me, it was very important things like, what are our walls made out of? What is our ceiling? What is our floor? What am I going to put in this room? And many times I didn't even have all that information.
Right.
So I had to kind of stay a little neutral on some things until I could gather the rest of it. What is the vibe that you want? What kind of, things, even to the music.
Right.
There's acoustical issues that have to go into that. Then we're brewing beers, so we're actually making something that people consume. So there's a sanitizing issue with that, and we need to make sure things are clean. And so when we were putting in our brew house, we needed to make sure that the space was going to be conducive to what we were doing, and we were going to be able to clean it. We were going to be able to make sure that our customers were not only happy, but we were going to be able to keep them healthy. And there's so many things that went along with that. There's a brew house that has its own licensing. There's a kitchen that has its own licensing. There's a consume on premises license that has its own license. There's a lot of things that go into that not everyone knows.
Right.
And I didn't even know some of that at the beginning. So I needed to kind of stay a little fluid and flexible and make sure that I knew that whatever I was doing was going to allow us to create a space that we were going to be allowed to open.
Right.
So
Yeah, and so with every construction project, there's always going to be a level of flexibility that we have to have. We can try and picture out the whole process right up front. We can put it on the plans. We can pick the colors. We can pick out the countertops. We can look at the walls and the floor. But then when you get into the space and things start going in, suddenly things begin to change, right? And
yeah, you have to be very flexible because you'll realize that what your vision was for this item doesn't work now,
right?
Or it's not allowed now,
right?
Or you need to pivot a little bit, and you need to go a different direction, and you need to be aware that that's the normal way of construction or of anything. So you need to be a little bit flexible, and you need to be able to broaden your vision as things change.
Right.
So it's this came out so well. There's so many things that we're able to create in here that are amazing beer. We can do amazing beer. We have an amazing space for all of our customers. They're very comfortable. It's a cool vibe, and you were able to help me bring all of that to life by listening.
as a consumer, as a regular customer, when you come into a place like this, it's a simple floor plan. It's wide open, there's really no walls in the middle, you have a simple bar on this side of the wall and you think, wow, this is a pretty simple space. Fact is, as we built this, there's a lot more details that go into a bar like this. You have the specialty floor, you have the bar, the location of the drains, there was some details on the cabinets that we had to work out, that with the drains, with the bar drain, and there was simply the blocking that goes into the wall to receive all the taps. There was solutions in the backside, on the brewery side, that we had to come up with the walk-in coolers. The lighting in the coolers, nobody had figured out what the lighting was going to be. So again, there's this huge long list of these details that have to be fine-tuned as you work through the project. It's not as simple as it looks.
So you, if you want to be a business owner, when you're coming up with like your business plan, there's so many details that every little nuance you have to think about. Like when we're growing our company, J Lane Construction, we're thinking about every little onboarding thing and every little project management thing and what's the superintendent checklists and details and rules, not like rules, but just like guidelines to follow, and everything is codes has to be flexible, but there's also a mindset of organization beforehand. So it goes into making beer and making a business,
And making this brewery for Shelly.
And making this specific brewery for Shelly and Jeff. So anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and join the Suit Club, and check the description for a bunch of links.
Come to Disco Witch and buy a beer.
Come to Disco Witch, and buy a beer. It's good beer. We'll see you in the next video.